Welcome to this episode of UMBC's Mic'd Up podcast. My name is Denise Cardona from the Office of Professional Programs at UMBC. Today we are talking with a current student in our data science master's program, Sebastian Carmona Angel, about his experience with the program and his internship over this past summer with Uber. I hope you enjoy this episode. Thanks so much for being with us on the UMBC Mic'd Up podcast, Sebastian. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor, actually.
Awesome. So I understand that you are a current student, graduate student in the data science graduate program here at UMBC, and that you had a really great experience with your internship this summer working with Uber. And so I'd love to learn more all about that and your experience with UMBC. But before we get started, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you and your background before joining the data science master's program here at UMBC. What has your career looked like so far?
Sure. Awesome. I'm from Colombia. I graduated, have a bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering. I work as a petroleum engineer for a year until COVID happens. Then I started studying a little bit about data science. I did a lot of courses, a lot of things about data, Python, all sorts of that until I started to work as a data scientist. So I worked as a data scientist for 2 years until I decided to pursue my master's here in UMBC.
Awesome. All right. So it's interesting for those listening in. Before we started recording, Sebastian had asked me, how long do you think this podcast, how long are we going to chat for? And I said, in 20 minutes or so. And now that you just told me that you are from Colombia, it might be a little longer. So I'm going to Colombia next week. I am leaving for a month. And I was there 4 years ago before COVID hit for about 2 months. My husband is from Colombia. And
Great.
I'm so excited. What part of Colombia are you from?
I'm from a small town called Armenia.
Oh my God. He is too.
Oh, really?
That's where we're going.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That is where we are going. So the coffee capital in Quindío. And
Exactly.
Yes, his mom lives there. His brother lives there. And then we also stay in Barcelona. It's a small town about 40 minutes from Armenia.
Yes.
So we'll switch between the two places, localities. That is such a small world. Yes.
It is a small world, but it's great. It's great that you have seen it. Not too many people that I know that have gone to Colombia have gone to Armenia. So they always tell me that when they ask me, where are you going? I'm telling them like Armenia. Like, what country? Or why? That is too much for a weekend. Like, how much hours do you spend on a plane? Like, not much, 3.
That is funny. You're absolutely correct. And interestingly enough, Colombia, in that area anyway, that's all I know. That's my reference point. A lot of the small towns are named after European towns, European cities. So Barcelona and Finlandia, there's Cordoba, there's a whole bunch of different places that are just wonderful to visit. And getting back to our subject of data science, so you studied data science in Colombia at a university there?
No, so my dad is a software engineer. When I was working as a petroleum engineer in the field, I did a lot of operation analysis. So my dad told me that I should do something with code because it will be easier for me doing stuff that I do like every day. So meanwhile, I had a 50-50 day shift. So 50 days on the field, 24/7. That was my life. Then 15 days of like vacations. So during those 15 days, I get to see Python, get to learn a little bit about Python. Then COVID hits, and then I start completely on Python, SQL, things related to data until I get to see what it was actually data science. And I did a lot of certificate specializations in Coursera with IBM, Google, and all sorts of that. So that is what got me into.
Yeah, that's great. What initially attracted you to UMBC's data science master's program, and how has your experience so far aligned with any expectations that you had of the program?
So when I was searching about pursuing my master's in data science, the thing that I wanted the most was not to do a thesis, mostly because when I was interviewing my first time for my first job as a data scientist, they every time they asked me if I had any projects or I have a portfolio that I can show of things that I have done as a data scientist. So what I was thinking when searching for a master's was having a project, like a final big project of everything, like from the beginning on a whole data project that I can show for for any job interviews and getting a job. That was that. So that is what made me.
Yeah, the hands on applied type of learning, that's what attracted me to my graduate program at UMBC, as well as being able to build a portfolio to be able to highlight and show the skills that you learned within the program instead of just theoretical stuff. Employers, they want to know, unless you're going academically somewhere, employers want to know that you have the actual skills, the real world experience, and that can be proven within a portfolio based program that allows you to build that portfolio while you are studying and learning and growing. So, yeah, that's a really great benefit. I agree.
Exactly. That is what made me choose UMBC. Having like that thing that will give me like a plus from everybody else. And it's also like a very good idea because I asked like my past managers what they thought about that, and they told me that it was the best thing that I could do is because it will be a big project that I can show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of hands on type of experience, congratulations on the internship that you had this summer with Uber. Could you share a little bit about what your role was during the internship and some of maybe the projects that you worked on with that?
Sure. I worked on the experimentation team at Uber. So that is A/B testing. What I did, I was a data scientist intern for 3 months. A couple of projects. One of those was checking like the data health, how the data comes from raw data to the production data, and like how the pipeline health is. And the other project was a little bit bigger and was showing insights for users, internal users, about their experiments. And by telling insight was how the experiment can be tracked, how it goes, when did it started, when their users entered to experiment, any insights about that. So how users can check and manage their experiment, and if they need to make any changes from what they are seeing on real time, because they can check how is it going in real time. So those were my two biggest projects during my internship. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Yeah. And so, what was your biggest takeaway? Did you learn new things that you were like, oh, that light bulb just went off in my head. Now I'm going to be able to use this in a future project, or something that you learned that maybe you didn't know ahead of time before that?
Yes, as technical things like as tools or things like that, I learned about there wasn't like a Python library made for creating dashboards that I have already used them before, but not as much as I did it this time. And how great it is, how I can connect sort a lot of things surrounding that, mostly like creating queries on the fly, doing things with connecting any type of data sources, databases. So that was something that was great during the internship that I learned.
So that kind of experience, what's great about that is when you are interviewing with future employers, you're going to have this vast amount of experience that you're going to be able to talk to and bring to the table. And being able to have these kind of examples of things that you've actually done is really going to set you apart from other candidates. I just think that's a really great thing. Now, data science is this rapidly evolving field. Did your internship with Uber open your eyes to any new areas or aspects of data science that you'd like to maybe explore further?
Yes. When I was in my previous job that I had before entering to you, like pursuing the master's, trying to study. I work in the in a product team, but we didn't did a lot of A/B testing or testing different things on the application. Have been here in like doing this internship on the experimentation team, seeing how important experimentation, A/B testing, or proof or concepts of different sort of features or new things into a product can be so important and can get so much value to a company. So I think that makes me want to get a little bit further in the type of product experimentation, being mostly like a product data scientist or experimentation data scientist.
Hmm.
So I that is what makes me realize what I really want to do with data science.
Yeah. Now, reflecting on your overall UMBC experience so far, what has been some of the most memorable and positive moments that you've had during the master's program? Have there been standout classes, or maybe it's with your peers or instructors? Are there are there standout moments that you can think about?
During this year at UMBC, I think everything has been positive. Everything has been great. But if you ask me about two moments about something that really struck me during this last year, was one moment was my first semester. I had a class, data 604, with Professor Charles. That one, I continue to think about the class in my internship, because Professor Charles tried to do something with all of us that was teaching us SQL, but on a better way to be better in performance, very in easier to apply. And I did a lot of that during my internship. That was a great moment, was getting to know him, the professor, which before entering UMBC, I followed him in LinkedIn. He talked a lot about data, so that was before entering to UMBC, and then was like a surprise. I had him as my professor. And the second moment was with Professor Karen Falkler last semester in management, leadership, and communication class. She said something, was like, communication is everything. Communication is very important, and how you communicate with other people is, and learning how to communicate with other people is the way for you to share ideas. And that was very important during my internship. I got the opportunity to do a lot of presentations during my internship with a lot of people, and doing that, show like making like brief presentations and getting like the most important things on during that presentation was really created during the internship.
Yeah, communication is such an important element to any career that you choose out there. And it's one of those things that, especially when you're interviewing, it's how you present yourself, but also as a professional in the field, in any field, you want to be able to present your ideas in a way that's cohesive, that's concise, that is understanding, empathetic, all of that, so that people, you're learning things and you're sharing it with people, so that you make it the world a better place, you're making the work environment a better place, you're being a better team member by being able to learn those communication skills that are just so vital to professional and personal relationships out there.
Yeah, it's really great.
Mm-hmm. Now, UMBC is known for its diversity and inclusive community. How has the environment enriched your learning experience and contributed to your growth as a data science professional?
That is something that was like, when I entered the UMBC, I saw that like there is a big percentage of internationals with me. Having to get to know different cultures after this past year, it was really like a big advantage on the internship. I went to San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco for the 3 months of my internship, but my team at Uber was all international, and it was really great because you already know about the cultures when you are at UMBC and get into the job and share the same things and tell them like, oh, I know this because I have a friend that is from there. Like you can teach me a lot of things. So it's really great.
Yeah, I agree. Being able to be a part of a diverse and inclusive team is such a gift. We have that at UMBC as well. It's just such a gift. And to be able to learn from people through lenses that are different than our own, because we all have different ways of perceiving the world and understanding the world. And it's just so helpful when you're part of a team, part of a work environment, to be able to see the world through different lenses and to be able to apply your skills in the way that you do it best, and bringing that to a team is really powerful, because then you have like a myriad of ideas that you can all learn and grow from. So yeah, I agree. My last question to you is, what advice would you give to incoming data science students at UMBC to make the most of their time in the program and succeed in their academic and their career goals?
I'll give them three, like, or more. But first of all, will be make a lot of friends. Get to know each one of their peers. If you have the opportunity, get to know them. Every person will teach you something. You think they will not, but they will teach you something that you will remember about it. Make a lot of friends, get to know everybody. Networking is really important. Second will be connect with your teachers. Connect with them, get to know their experience. All of the professors that I had from the past year, they are professors that are actually working in the field, working as data scientists or something related to data. So they have a lot of experience. They get to teach you things that you will use, and you will be like hands on the field stuff. So connect with them, take advantage of that, use it. And the third thing is enjoy the campus, enjoy the university, enjoy everything that a university has to give you. There is something that is, for me, has been really important, and it is being the career center. The career center helps you a lot with looking at your CV, help to make a better presentation of yourselves to companies. You can ask them for help on like a letter, like a introduction letter for a company, or how to manage to make your CV to an actual job. So Career Center really helped me a lot with my search on the internship that I had on this past summer. So those will be the things that I will.
Yeah, those are really powerful pieces of advice. And I really loved your last one the most, because of the fact that it's the Career Center and they have been instrumental with so many of our students. That's what I hear. And so if you are a current student or you are a prospective student, reach out to the Career Center at UMBC, because they are there to help you grow in your career and match you and figure out where you're supposed to be and help you to present yourself in the best way possible.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Sebastian, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the UMBC Mic'd Up podcast. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors in the field of data science.
Thank you very much. It was a really honor being here and get to share all the things in data science and the masters.
Thanks so much for listening into this episode of UMBC's Mic'd Up podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to learn more about our offerings, do a search for data science graduate programs at UMBC, or simply click the link in the description.